Warning, this video may contain subjects that make some viewers feel uneasy, such as death threats, mental illness, kleptomania, and cussing. If any of these subjects upset you or put you in an unsafe mind space, please click off. Your mental health means more to me than you listening to my rant. With that, you have been warned. Family. There's one thing that's tried and true about it. There's always gonna be that one person you don't like. Whether that be brother versus sister, mother versus daughter, aunt versus niece, or maybe even a whole group of children against the adults entirely. We all know one thing for certain. There's going to be that one person you just don't like. I have one of those, my oldest sister, who for the sake of this video, I will be calling Alice. I apologize to any of the Alices that follow me or watch this video. I don't mean to insult you in such a manner, but I don't want her to go full Karen on me and try to sue me for attempt at doxing. So her name shall be Alice for the rest of this video. Now for some of you, you'll need some context, so let's start at the beginning. My mother wasn't in the best financial state, but had too many kids, so she gave my sister, Alice, to the rich uncle and aunt. Now, when I say the rich uncle and aunt, I don't just mean they have a pretty house and are doing financially well. I mean they own several cars, 2 boats, a bunch of cattle and horses, acres upon acres of lands, could afford horseback riding lessons, and several other extracurriculars for her, lived in a gigantic house with an in-ground pool, an expensive grill, and so much more. And you'd think the reason she came out the way she did was because they were abusive or something, but no. At most, the worst thing they did to her was yell at her when she got into fights at school. They were pretty lax and very much spoiled her rotten. In fact, I think that's why she's the way she is. She never ever got told no and never learned respect when she was younger. And now she thinks she can cuss, scream, and get violent with people when they yell at her back. My life, anytime she is ever in it, involves the exact same routine. She makes a bad decision, my mom or any adult figure in the immediate vicinity feels bad for her. She acts like a little angel for a short period of time. Then she starts acting like she's better than everyone else in the house. Then boom, she gets into a fight over the most trivial thing. Either A, someone said something to her out of turn, or B, she stole something needlessly. She tries to either threaten that person or gets violent with them, and then boom, either me or her are back out on the streets. And this happens over and over and over and over and over again. And each and every single time, she wants me to entertain her sob story. She wants me to coo and coddle her as she throws herself a pity party. She likes to say that we have it easy and say that her life was so much harder than ours. Yeah, Alice, it must have been so hard for you having horseback riding lessons. It must have been so hard having everything and anything you wanted at the palm of your hand. It must have been so hard for you. And the worst thing is, her actions aren't even self-destructive enough alone. Her actions also affected us. Like the time she stole so much money that we didn't have enough to pay rent and eventually got kicked out. Yeah, I remember that, Alice. And it's the fact that you tried to blame me for it afterwards. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that part. She is a gigantic kleptomaniac. She will steal things and she is unapologetic for it. Money, she steals it. Clothes, even though they're too small or too big for her, she steals it. Shoes that don't even fit her, she steals it. Jewelry, she steals it. Anything she feels like stealing, you can bet your rear she's stealing it. And no, dear viewer, she has never apologized for any of these actions. Even to this day, she either brushes us off when they're brought up, or completely pretends like it never happened in the first place. So on top of her acting like a spoiled brat who thinks she's better than everyone else, on top of her kleptomania, she's also a terrible roommate. Like one time, I had been making sure my room was squeaky clean. There was not one bug, not one roach in that entire room. I was making sure that it was squeaky clean all the time. But the moment she gets in that room, boom, disarray, filth, clutter, and no matter how much I cleaned it, it was dirty right the next day. And one time, when she was out, I decided it's time to lock in and clean every inch, including her bed, and I found so many disgusting things. I found a bowl that had crusty mustard on it, a concoction in Tupperware that I don't even know what was inside of it. And on top of all of that, I was attacked by not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 roaches in that bed. There was also another thing up there, but I don't want to get demonetized, so I won't say what it is. I'll just make a vague drawing of it and put it right here. Yeah, there was one of those up there. But for me at least, the straw that finally broke the camel's back of our relationship had to happen this Easter. So, for some context, our family doesn't really celebrate Easter, but we do get around together and celebrate as a family, just relaxing and hanging out in the pool. But then, at the very tail end of the day, she asked if her daughter could spend the night with her, but my uncle and aunt said no, because of course, after Easter Sunday, it's a regular old Monday, so of course their daughter can't. She has school tomorrow. So Alice gets upset. She starts screaming at the both of them, causing a big scene, and then we all practically rush to the car so we can all leave. And my mom asks, "What's happening?" because she wasn't there to see it all unfold. And Alice just starts screaming at her, yelling, cussing. Some of her spit got onto my leg. She was going absolutely ballistic, cussing out my uncle. And then when Mom said to please calm down, she then started cussing at her, calling her all sorts of names. And then when my mom said, "Don't cuss at me," she started rapidly banging on the door, throwing herself at the door, screaming and hollering to let her out. And then, when Mom told her to calm down once again, she then said, and I quote, "If you don't let me out of this car, I'm going to slit your throat." Yep, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. After having a full-blown temper tantrum because she couldn't have her daughter over when she had school the next day, she threatened to slit my mother's throat for daring to ask the question of what is wrong and then telling her to calm down. And so, of course, after she said that a few times, my mother gave her a good few hits to the head, opened and unlocked the car door. Once she was out, I shut the door and we all started to drive away. Then my mother started working extra hard so that we could get out of her house as quick as possible. And then on the last day, she was making an extra big stink about it. She did everything she could to paint both me and my brother and my mother as horrible, vindictive people. She started whining and complaining how we were leaving her house in disarray because we wouldn't do her dishes, even though none of us ever used her dishes after that day. She accused us of being the reason she has roaches now. even though the first thing I saw once I got to that house was several roaches. And then on a last-ditch attempt to make my mother seem horrible in the eyes of her friends, accused her of stealing, saying, "I'm not leaving my house. I know if I leave before her, she's gonna try to steal from me." And that's just about when I had it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to talk to her ever again once I get to Texas. Might as well start today. And the funniest part is, after I called her out, she accused me of trying to start shit with Mom. And I was just like, girlie, I didn't even say I was going to say anything to Mom. I just said that it was interesting that someone like her would accuse Mom of stealing. And then we got into another argument where she tried to say, "You be wanting to cuss out Mom as well." But then I was like, me wanting to cuss out Mom under my breath in my room and letting myself cool off for a while is not the same thing as threatening to kill her. And then when I asked, "Are you even sorry that you did that?" she said, "I feel sorry for you guys." And I was like, I don't care. You didn't threaten to slit us in the throat. You threatened to do that to Mom. I want you to be sorry that you said that in general, not just because you want a relationship with us. And then when I asked her again if she felt sorry, she said, "If I'm being honest, if I had the opportunity to, I most likely would have tried to cut her in the throat."
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was it for me. I can't handle her anymore. I can't keep trying to help her when she clearly doesn't even feel sorry for what she did. I just can't do it anymore. If she doesn't feel sorry for what she said to Mom, or the fact that she legitimately said if she could have done it, she would have done it. Like, if she's willing to do that to Mom, what's stopping her from doing it to me? What's stopping her from slitting my throat because I said something she didn't like? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of her coming into my life and wrecking everything just because someone said something she didn't like and then getting violent. I'm tired of constantly having to coddle her unless I want to be on the receiving end of her absolute verbal or physical abuse. And I have a message to everyone that watches me. If you have a sibling that acts like this, run. Run for the hills because they will treat you like dirt. They will get violent. And if they're as unapologetic as my sister, then you need to cut them off as soon as possible. They'll only learn once they have no other resources to turn to. They will only learn to stop acting like spoiled brats once they have nowhere else to go. And if they continue to be spoiled brats, then let them realize that they ruin their own lives by themselves. Do not emotionally drain yourself just so you can have a chance at making their lives better. Because even if their lives do get better, you will not be thanked for doing it. But with that out of the way, here is the end of the video. I know today's video was a bit more darker than usual, but I just had to get this off of my chest. I hope you all have a good day, stay safe, drink some water, and I hope you all have a good day once again. Thank you for listening to me, and goodbye.